Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Salt Mine. My name's Hummus. I'm joined by Quacks, and we've got Aegis Champions League here tonight. How you feeling, Quacks?
I'm feeling great. You know, we're starting to get down there in terms of teams that are qualifying. We got our first 4-0 teams to get into the playoffs last week, Hummus, and this week that train is going to be continuing. We got 2 3-1 teams. We got Galaxy Gaming and Prosperity Esports sitting at 3-1. They were 3-0 last week, but unfortunately both falling down in 0-2 fashion. So one of these teams, like I said, is going to be able to qualify, but another, crucially, is going to be sitting at 3-2. So they're going to have a bit of a cold streak after that hot start. And for the other team, it's going to mean salvation for the playoffs. So just as much riding on a win, I would say, as a loss. So I think both of these teams really wanting to kick it into high gear this week. And I'm excited to see them pull out all the stops.
So am I. Obviously haven't been around here before, but Quacks, in the pre-show, you were hyping these teams up, hyping the league up, hyping all of this up. And these players, I mean, they look good from their OPGGs, which I mean, I know means like next to nothing about team play and all of that. Anything you can tell me about these two teams and how they play and what we can expect?
I mean, for me, at least for Galaxy, I know a little bit more about these guys because they played in the open qualifiers. Hummus, this was a team that was, at least to me, really operational through basically all of their lanes. They could play through any one lane and make it work. And so I feel like that sort of jack of all trades team is really useful in a meta like this where you have carry potential in all 3 lanes, where no one role is sort of subjected into going to one class or picking one champion. You can definitely see carries in every single position here for Galaxy. But the player that I really want to focus in on, Hummus, at least for the side of Galaxy Gaming, is their new jungler, Krakodon. Last year, this was a guy that a lot of people were riding the high on in summer, but had a bit of a disappointing end to that year. Now is looking for a little bit of redemption, looking to be that missing piece for Galaxy that they didn't have during those open qualifiers that can take them a step higher and one step above, not just in the ACL, but potentially in any future endeavors we'll see them in. So I'm really excited to see what he's made of. I'm really excited to see this Galaxy Gaming squad and who they'll be playing around. And for the side of Prosperity Esports, I'm really looking at Icelandic Hero. This guy has been, I think, one of the best performing junglers so far in the ACL, and I think the jungle matchup is going to be a banger.
All right, well, we've talked about the players, we talked about the teams. Let's talk about the champions they're going to be playing. I had a little voice in my ear tell me draft is ready. Hey, look, there it is. Prosperity Gaming going to be on the blue side for game number 1 here. And Quacks, I did not do enough homework. Are we in Fearless, full Fearless for ACL?
We are. So the champions that you see picked on this game, picked on Summoner's Rift for game 1, not going to be available for game number 2 and potentially game number 3. So we're really going to have to delve deeper into those champion pools. But we're already seeing a little bit of targeting to specific players. Galaxy really just making sure that Icelandic doesn't get some of his more supportive role junglers, such as the Sejuani, and Prosperity on the other side, taking away Cozy's very famous Rumble.
I'll take your word that it's famous. I am a little bit interested to see what we're looking at on Blue 1 as we get that direction. The vibe has seemed to be that this patch is a little bit more red favored. Do you have any idea who picked side on this one, by the way?
I believe... I always kind of assume that on the newest patch, most of the people that are on red probably picked red. I think that blue side has fallen a little bit out of favor in the most recent patch. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Galaxy probably were the people that dictated the side selection here in game number 1. But as we move further and further into the draft, I like that you pointed out some of those red side bans, Hummus, as we are getting word that blue side ban is actually going to be, or rather the Mystic red side ban is going to be Melio. And that means that one of Nefiri or Gwen is going to be left up. Obviously, we have seen a decent amount of nerfs coming toward those champions, but I do think that they are still extremely strong, and I'm wondering if Prosperity are going to capitalize off of not just one, but both of them being up.
We do? Wow, you are so smart, Quacks. I do want to clarify it's not a Milio ban, it is a Lilia ban. So we're going to have no hopping deer around this game. And I mean, Quacks mentioned the Gwen. Nefiri got nerfed this patch just a little bit, seems to be falling slightly more out of favor. Gwen, not so much, will be the blue one pickup and going to be answered by Averis. And Quacks, I gotta ask, based on some of the games I've seen, NACL, etc., what are the odds this Varus is going top?
I actually think it's rather low. I don't think Cozy is exactly known for the top lane range champions. I think that this is also something that Inori B has coveted throughout our tenure here in the ACL spring regular season. So I'm expecting that to go bot lane, the Xin Zhao as well. I think that this is kind of a Krakadon special as well. We saw the Sejuani band, and I kind of associate that champion with him as well. But Xin Zhao, a bit of a silver medal in terms of champion pool here for the jungler of Galaxy Gaming. Now Prosperity, though, are going all for the gold star picks. They got the Gwen, the Nefiri, and they're going to lock in the Jhin. And this is a champion Kangxi has played not once, not twice, but 4 times, Hummus. This is a Jhin merchant here. But now he's going to ruin it because it's his 5th one. Jhin has to stay at 4, Kangxi. What are you doing?
I mean, they're going for lucky number 4 here tonight, so it's Jhin. So it works if we just look at record instead of times played. That's what we're going for here. Actually proud of him because I was trying to figure out how to make a Jhin joke, and I mean, man served it up on a silver platter for me. As we look towards the end of round number 1 of this draft, you're going to get rounded off with the Akali, most likely in the mid lane.
See, now that will probably go top. That is something that we, at least I know, Cozy really like. He loves his AP top laners. That is probably going to be an Akali top. And I love that as a blind, especially into Gwen. I feel like the mobility that Akali provides can help close the gap on Gwen and sort of circumvent that hallowed mist annoyance in the laning phase.
All right, we do see the Orianna Galio, Aurora most likely, and Sylas bands coming out. And I do love the Sylas ban. It's the recognition that these ultimates will hurt if they get stolen. And I mean, I think it's a good ban. 4 mid laners taken off the board. Looks like the first one going to be picked up is going to be the Taliyah. Is that one going mid at least?
Yeah, that I would imagine that one likely going to be handed off to your one and only Arienda. Loves his mages, and Taliyah, I also think, is going to be just a generally good pick into what we're going to likely see from Prosperity in the mid lane. Azir being hovered, and this is a matchup that Taliyah actually really likes. Azir loves that he can usually outrange a lot of these mages, but doesn't really have that advantage against someone like Taliyah, who can really just stand back and poke from a distance as well. Azir can't get those shuffles off with the little Legos on the ground. And so I think Galaxy are doing not just a good job at, shutting down this mid lane matchup here. Really, I think that Taliyah was a smart pick, but also just making it difficult for Prosperity as a whole to engage, especially with that Leona rounding out their comp, and Galaxy as well. Last pick going to go for the Alistar. So just a lot of disengage options here for Galaxy Gaming. And, tangentially, I feel like they can also choose when to engage just as much.
Generally speaking, your in buttons are also your out buttons, so the mobility goes both ways. I am slightly thrown off by the Leona for Prosperity Gaming, if I'm being honest. Leona likes going in and that engaged level of support, whereas Jhin is best further back and not necessarily diving, like, say, a Kai'Sa or a Jinx or whatever. You know these teams better than I do. Does the Jhin Leona work for these guys?
I think that Jhin Leona is just as much as maybe just trying to get the damage off in the laning phase as it is just trying to set up a pick for Nefiri, right? You've got Leona who's locking down a certain target, and then you've got Gwen following up with the Deadly Flourish. That is a missile locked on target for Nefiri to go for that ultimate. And if you can get a kill on Nefiri with that ult, the resets come through, and suddenly you as Galaxy are going to be sent running for the hill. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a bot lane duo that we're looking at to be dominant in the laning phase, more so one that can act as a conduit to get this Nefiri ahead and, more or less allow Icelandic to take over like he has been doing all season long in the ACL. He really has been the guy that has that Daug in him, both literally and figuratively, Hummus.
Alrighty, with that, Quacks, I have a question I always like to ask when I'm on play-by-play, especially when I don't know the teams that I'm casting. We're coming out of draft. You've talked about some of the specific matchups, but let's look it up as a 5v5. Coming out of draft, which draft do you like more for the teams?
I mean, personally, I am really. I mean, you know, you have a team with Gwen Fury. I feel like you always gotta bet on blue here in this case scenario. It's hard not to. They've got the scaling, they've got the lockdown for the Nefiri, they've got, you know, a decent amount of early game safety as well. I think it's going to be really difficult for Galaxy to actually catch a lot of these targets out. The only champion, I would say, on Prosperity that is vulnerable to getting targeted is that Jhin. But given that Kangji knows how this champion works, and given that he is one of my boys, I have absolute faith in him to be able to pull through. Galaxy, though, I think their comp is still really good, but a lot of it relies, I think, on this Akali being able to get ahead of this Gwen early, really make solidified bleed early on, and, you know, subsequently as well, Enorabi. We're really paying attention to that Varus to see if he can get ahead. So there's a little bit more of a snowballing aspect here to Galaxy, and Prosperity makes it really difficult for that to come true, I think, realistically.
There was a whole lot of answers to the question that I asked, and I do appreciate it. I have no idea where we are at in spectator delay or anything like that. Do we have a game potentially, maybe, possibly?
I think we'll probably be all right. Okay. I'm getting a ring in our ears that they have not started yet, or that we are going to be a little bit. So I am actually going to do something that we don't usually do here on the Salt Mine. I'm going to send us to a quick break, if that's possible, until the game starts. And then when we get back into Summoner's Rift, we'll be able to get ourselves into that all-exciting game one to see who is going to take those 4 wins and qualify themselves for playoffs. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, welcome back to the Salt Mine and Aegis Champions League. We're on the road for game number 1, where we figure out whether Prosperity Gaming or Galaxy Gaming will get the ball rolling towards that coveted 4th win for this season. Quacks, are you excited?
I definitely am, and I'm really looking particularly at some of these jungle picks to really make the difference and tip the scale to either one of these teams. Obviously, anytime you see a Neferi, you're looking at the surrounding supporting pieces of this champion, what it can use, what it can have be used as setup. And, you know, as we talked about in the draft, Hummus, I really like the Jhin plus Leona bot lane to just get an easy target for Icelandic to jump on once he gets that level 6 call of the pack.
We will see how fast that goes. I do know that with the new patch that came out and the deletion of the second set of grubs and the pushback of the first spawn of grubs, junglers seem to have been hitting 6 a little bit quicker than normal because they have more time to farm without having to focus on those jungle objectives. Patch has been live for, I believe, a week and a half now, correct?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, no. The Ionian map, man, I wish it was longer. I love this new map, I gotta say. Probably because I really thought the Noxus map was ugly, but I definitely think that that's accurate. I think we're seeing a little bit more personal time, I should say, given over to the junglers to just farm and not necessarily worry about an objective every couple of minutes. So I think, you know, for champions like Neferi, who really spike off of that level 6 power marker, it is a better change overall for them, at least pacing wise for the game.
Level 2 already, so you know we're like a third of the way there. We're getting there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we saw Ariandel Frozen Titan. We highlighted this matchup a little bit as being uncomfortable, and I mean they're trading well, all things considered. I think.
Yeah, they definitely are. Ariandel, a little bit more, I would say, willing, especially with that phase rush, to be able to go for trades because he has a quick way to just get out of Azir's range. And so I think we're definitely looking at Ariandel to be the guy shoving it this way. You can see he's already expended a lot of mana, maybe just trying to get a cheater, but Titan is holding the line. You know, the Emperor's got to make sure that his troops are sitting good, and he's doing just that so far. So not a ton of action. You know, almost 3 minutes in, but notably both junglers pathing on opposite sides. You can see Krakodon just starting up on his blue, Icelandic just starting up on his Gromp, going to move to his blue right after that. Not really anticipating much action after these full clears, to be honest with you.
Well, we will have first Dragon up in about 2 minutes time. Ariandel, you noted low on mana, did recall and teleport back to lane, so there is more mana to be had, and also that tier of the goddess that's going to start stacking. Meanwhile, on the bot side, well, it's tank supports going at each other with damaging AD carries. It's bot lane, guys.
It definitely is, but Anorian came down, managing to get some of that prio for Krakodon to just secure that crab. You can also see Icelandic on the other side doing the same thing. Has maybe an opportunity to look toward mid lane, but Ariandel, like we said, has that phase rush, has that flash, and I think they also know Krakodon is on the other side of that river, so Xin Zhao could easily respond. And I think this early in the game, you definitely don't want to leave it up to 1v1ing a Xin Zhao. As looks like Krakodon maybe wants to try and do that, though.
Well, it's a 1v1 for now, but we see people moving towards the 4v4 here as the question mark pings come down. We got top side where, there we go. Icelandic hero that inflating in. Krakodon falling low and flash away, but the ignite first blood over to Icelandic. And we talked about that jungle matchup. That's a way to get that party started.
Absolutely. We talked about the lockdown. The deadly flourish from Kongchi comes through, and Krakodon, even though he burns the flash, he gets taken down, and it's Icelandic to pick up that kill. The Neferi starting off this game strong, Hummus.
Ariandel?
Ooh!
Ariandel!
Yeah, solo kill over to the Azir. Titan, though, does have the teleport, so we'll be able to get back to lane and maybe try and, I mean, shove this wave as much as he can. As nope, the action doesn't stop. Solidify may be in trouble.
All right, on the bot side, we're going to flash down there because Icelandic is ganking as well, and Nori B falling low. Gonna have to be a little bit careful there. We'll be able to get back under turret. Piercing arrow does some solid damage. Not quite enough. They're going to be under turret. Do we? I think we just look for turret plates here. Kim down, kind of stuck under turret if they opt to go for this dive.
I mean, Icelandic does have the ability to go untargetable and completely de-aggro turret. Oh, he's just going in. He's an alpha male, 1v3. Doesn't matter. Mad cow disease is a real thing. But certainly doesn't dissuade the former NACL Team Liquid Challengers support from putting the hands on the squad of Prosperity. Good look, though, from Icelandic. Does tank his tempo just a little bit. We talked a little bit about how important it was that Nefiri hit level 6 as soon as possible, but he gets a bit of a later back, maybe opening up an opportunity for Krakedon to look for another aggressive play, but he might be a little bit dissuaded given that his last one didn't exactly go as he intended.
It didn't. That was on the top side. At the same time, we saw Icelandic on the bot side, and I was keeping half an eye on the mini-map, and it seems like everybody walked at each other, and then Solidified flashed away, and then everybody walked away from each other.
Yeah, so still though, 1 kill apiece. Dragon has spawned. The Grubs, a little bit of a ways from spawning. Again, they spawn now at 8 minutes, so we aren't going to see much action, I would imagine, on the top side. Now that Cozy especially has hit level 6, it's very, very difficult to lock down that Akali. So I think a lot of that attention will be given over to the bot side and just securing that part of the river.
Freeman Shuffle's going to get flashed through by Ariandel. Kim down and Krakedon are both in the mid lane there. And, I mean, the jungle, Krakedon's farming up away from this dragon, so are we going to see a dragon fight? Maybe, maybe not.
Krakedon is, yeah, I mean, completely left the bot side of the map, and you could see that Kongji is setting up that wave for a big bouncing grenade, so they should be able to, I think, push this wave in, try and get some priority. Icelandic is down here as well, so there certainly is still a very lively threat onto this poor Hex Tech Dragon. I almost confused my dragons there for a minute. And Icelandic now, crucially, does have that Call of the Pack, does have the level 6, so the dueling power of this Nefiri definitely online 7.5 minutes in.
Alright, well, at 7.5 minutes in, as you pointed out, we've got Grubs spawning in 15 seconds. So perhaps Zach's Hex Flash incorrectly. He was going through the wall, went into the wall. In the mid lane, looks like we're doing more trading up here. And Krakedon. Okay. I was going to say, for the first time on this patch that I've casted games on, we might actually see a legitimate Drake for Grubs trade.
I think that's probably not in the cards for Prosperity. I mean, you could see Icelandic. He's moving up toward the top side. Frozen Titan does have priority. Cozy as well, though, has priority. Ariandel has the Weaver as well, so this is a bit of a dangerous fight for Prosperity to take. They think they have, you know, maybe even potentially numbers advantage, but that Talia can instantly show up if you're not careful. I think they just have to back off and give the objective.
There it is. First Grub's going to be given over in their entirety to Galaxy Gaming on that red side. The engage in the bush is going to come through. Krakedon falling about half health, going to flash away.
Yeah, so flash burn onto Krakedon. Not the biggest deal in the world, especially if you can hit that wind become lightning. It allows you to cover the distance that the flash would otherwise not allow you to do. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it does probably prompt Icelandic to look for a bit more of an aggressive play, maybe in Krakedon's jungle, but as it stands, he just doesn't really have the priority to do so with the Xin moving in the bot side. Speaking of bot side.
Yeah, that starting the engage there is going to get rooted up. Both ADCs at 6. Ooh. That's falling low. Should be able to survive that, but needs to exit the fight with a hurry. We're not... Okay, I was going to say, we're not going for a little cheeky bush play here, are we? No.
I don't believe so, but, you know, chunks onto Zats, no support for just a little bit. Does give a timing window over to Krakedon to go for that dragon. So we are going to see both neutrals actually owned here by Galaxy. Prosperity not really able to wrestle control of any one of these neutrals, and it just means that they are going to be slightly behind when it comes toward that late game win condition. I would say especially important given that you have your solo laners who really thrive past that 3-item mark. The Gwen and the Azir are really going to hit like a truck, but Galaxy Gaming bringing some firepower of their own ahead of time.
Sure are. The engage game started. Arendelle flash, Zenith Blade, Icelandic Hero calls the pack and finds the shutdown.
A really, really good attempt there from a Frozen Titan. I mean, he gets the Legos placed down by Arendelle. It's a gold-green light there for Zats to go in. They find the kill. The CC is enough, and Icelandic starting this game out 2-0. It might not be any objectives in their hands, but they are certainly giving the ball to the Dog and hoping that it delivers a slam dunk. I don't think dogs do that, though, but who knows? Maybe Icelandic Hero is a bit of an exception.
Perhaps. Came down, flashing in. Chains of Corruption will land onto Zats, trying to run away, but getting bursted down. Silver Flare comes down across the bat, but Zats burning. Krakadon finds one.
Krakadon managing to secure that. You can see Inori and Kim down shoving this wave pretty fast, maybe looking for a dive. I mean, it is definitely going to be Kongji who has to be careful. He does have flash, he does have barrier, but you can see the respect he's playing with down in that bot lane, understanding that despite the sums, you are an 80 carry left to the Wolves. But luckily, the Wolves not going to strike this time around. It's only 1 kill over to Galaxy, but 2 apiece so far this game. I would say the difference really is just in those neutrals so far, Hummus.
I do want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about the feats, because we're 1 kill away on either side from the feat of Warfare. We're a neutral objective for the side of Galaxy Gaming, away from the feat of Monster Slaying. Feats, they're not known to be game-breaking, but they are known to be quite helpful, and Galaxy Gaming set up quite nicely to secure them. Cozy Krakadon roaming around Icelandic Hero on the Scuttle Crab. Icelandic, I believe, secured the Scuttle Crab before getting on out of dodge.
Manages to secure the crab. Mental warfare achieved by the jungler of Prosperity Esports. Galaxy Gaming, they're just left in shambles because of that, I'm going to be completely honest with you. But, you know, Icelandic playing a little bit of a dangerous game there, all for the Scuttle Crab. He gets out and also manages to save his flash, but could have been a disaster for Prosperity if they weren't if they weren't careful enough. Luckily they are, and the game will proceed as planned. I do want to take a minute to look at Icelandic's build. I do know that Spear of Shojin, that's the item, is a very vital component toward the Nefiri, but I've been seeing just a lot more emphasis on rushing that Eclipse. I'm really interested to see what Icelandic's thought process is about, you know, saving that for later maybe as Arendelle.
Quick, because Titan flashed into the shuffle, Arendelle flashed away. Matter because Icelandic finds it and the kill. Krakadon crescent guarding away will not be enough as Icelandic hunts him down for the double kill.
And Icelandic rips, tears, and chews up Galaxy Gaming's mid-jungle duo. Krakadon not even saying, I can flash to survive this. He goes down. It's a 4-0 Nefiri, and Prosperity Esports, objectives be damned. They are setting up this jungler perfectly.
They sure are. That does also mean that the feat of Warfare completed and secured by Prosperity Gaming. It's the first. They need 1 more. Kim down, getting stunned and rooted up there just a little bit. Needs to be a little careful in what bushes he's walking into.
Does have the Unbreakable Will, so I don't think a particularly long trade onto this Alistar is going to work for Prosperity. They're really just trying to get this wave shoved in. They're just going to probably take a reset off of that. We've got the Dragon coming up in about a minute. Nori B likely sitting on a decent amount of gold. Does also have that Yomu's Ghost Blade. So just trying to chunk out Kongji and delay these backs as much as possible so that Prosperity don't have as much tempo and time to play with when it comes to setting up for this bot side.
Speaking of setting up, we've got Icelandic here. A Frozen Titan came down. Zats going in and getting pushed back.
Really, really good disengage there by Kim down. He manages to dissuade any sort of aggression by Icelandic and Zats, and they live to fight another day for the time being. Inori staying probably just to shove in 1 more wave, and then is probably going to take the reset along with his support. It's just both sides trying to get as many toys, as many items as they possibly can ahead of this dragon. You can see there's not a particularly large amount of setup here by either squad around this bot side river, and so Prosperity looks like they're going to be the first ones down there with Icelandic leading the charge, and they will be able to carve out some vision on that side of the map. It's going to be up to Galaxy to circumvent that vision or, you know, charge through it with this Alistar and try to fight for this dragon if they want it.
Rift Herald is up on the top side of the map, so we do have both of those neutral objectives up. Not for much longer, though, because that's Chemtech Dragon, and it is just dead with 4 members, and we're going to have an Ocean Soul on the Rift for game number 1 here.
And, you know, you're just talking about trading Hummus. Good call, because immediately we pan over to top side. Krakadon, Inori B, they are on Herald. And you can see, though, there is a lot of uncertainty as to where the Prosperity Esports members are, but now they found them. This is a bit of a dangerous game.
All right, curtains will open and get canceled immediately. Icelandic Hero goes unstoppable. Cozy putting in the work on Kongji on the backside, and now it's an all-out draw. Krakadon secures the Rift Herald. Dream Shuffle will cost Krakadon his life. Now the re-engaged Cozy falling low. Cozy falling to the hero.
He can't get through the wall! The Emperor's Divine gatekeeps all of Galaxy Gaming from picking up the eye, Hummus, and not only is it kills over to Prosperity, but Galaxy get next to nothing for their efforts. A kill on to Kongji, but that will be their only reward.
And, I mean, we questioned maybe a little bit the Azir into a Talia pick. It wasn't great, but Frozen Titan showing why he picked the Azir. The Shuriman Shuffle was just beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. It had dual purpose in that fight, splitting up Galaxy, getting them away from the Herald, and then just gatekeeping them from picking up the eye. That was absolutely hilarious, but it's a huge deal for Prosperity as now it's 2 items onto Icelandic. He has got the Spear of Shojin plus that Black Cleaver, so he is going to be shredding not just through the back line of Galaxy Gaming, but the front line as well. It's a very dangerous game now for Galaxy Gaming to be playing. They've got to really put their eyes on this Nefiri as the primary target to shut down. I mean, for crying out loud, Icelandic has 6 out of their 7 kills, Hummus. If the target selection wasn't any more clear, I don't know what else could tell you.
And see, I was over here getting all excited that Solidified actually picked up a kill, so they weren't all on Icelandic. I mean, man put hero in his name. I guess it makes sense that he's going to be the hero of the team. More importantly for me, though, we are 18 minutes in. Even with the 4 killed difference, the gold lead is only about 800. And yes, we talked about the target selection onto Icelandic, but there is no shutdown on Icelandic, so you don't get anything extra for killing him, other than him not ripping through your front and back line and wiping your team out.
Yeah, it's because of the new changes to the bounty system is hanging on Inori B.
Ooh, change the corruption and Inori B. Kongji just explodes. Zat's trying to get on out of there, popping the Solar Flare on Inori B, cleansed away immediately. Zats will fall as Inori B finds it.
Double kill over to the Varus. And what was initially a good look there from Prosperity immediately turns south as Krakadon enters from the fog, helps out his AD carry. Really good turnaround with the Chains of Corruption as well. A lot of credit there over to the AD carry of Galaxy. And now a new challenger has approached as it's a 2-0 Varus. Not only that, but it's a lethality Varus as well, so Icelandic does have to be careful.
All right, starting to engage Arendelle falling low, but Kim Down has the disengage we talked about in draft.
Yeah, so Icelandic, despite using that ultimate, the call of the pack, not going to be enough to stick on to Arendelle. The headbutt really having a lot of value in just getting that Nefiri away, like you said, Hummus. I have to think, you know, the next objective for both of these teams, the next thing that they really want to look for are those turrets. You can see the Prosperity likely really sad that they didn't get that Herald. Obviously, they denied it away from Galaxy, but they could really use one of those just trying to break down mid ahead of this dragon that's spawning in about a minute. It could really give them a little bit more space and time to play with around these neutrals, but they unfortunately don't have that. And you can see that Galaxy, despite not having, you know, the most concrete of win cons, at least compared to Prosperity, they aren't really able to punish them for plays like this, where they're just invading the jungle.
Indeed. Zat's trying to get something going on the angle. I do want to highlight, at some point in the chaos of everything that happened, Cozy secured the top tier 1 turret for Galaxy Gaming. So Galaxy Gaming did find a turret, also means that they found the full feats, so we are rocking those enhanced boots for the 3 members that have them. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit, and it's 1,500 gold lead over to Galaxy Gaming as we turn the page towards this third dragon.
You can see a lot of members from Galaxy have grouped in the mid lane to just get priority around that side of the map so they can transition into the bot lane. This wouldn't be the worst thing to give up in the world, as feats, like you mentioned, Hummus, has already been acquired by Galaxy. So giving this one up doesn't have a lot of negative connotations going forward. Second Dragon, nothing really to panic about for Prosperity, so they're perfectly comfortable giving away this Drake, but they do have to look alive for that third one, as that will mean soul point for Galaxy Gaming if they are not careful. Maybe even more than that, as the Otacon has actually spawned on the bot side as well, so gotta make sure that you get an advantage, and here it might help.
Weaver's Wall. Ariandel burns, but she escapes on that one. Otacon did get started. And I gotta say, Quacks, I was watching the Drake get taken, and I was thinking in my head, what is Prosperity Gaming getting for this? Like, if you give up Dragon, you should be getting something else. And the answer is they got negative turrets, because Ariandel found the bot tier 1 turret. For Prosperity Gaming, all that's protecting their jungle right now is that mid tier 1.
It absolutely is. I mean, they tried to look for a kill onto Ariandel. The Ignite was dropped, but, you know, Leah is a surfer, manages to get away from the waves, the minions, and the champions on Prosperity Esports. So for the time being, it's just going to be them kind of left out to dry. They don't get an objective, don't really get a trade like you were saying, Hummus. And it really, I feel, just is about that mid turret. You can see Inori B trying to put pressure on that side of the map, but he has to be careful. He doesn't really have anyone nearby. It's just going to be struggling for a bit of space. It's a war of attrition, I like to call it at this point here for both squads.
There is gold lead about 2,000 in favor of Galaxy Gaming. It's not insignificant, but it is also not earth-shattering here at 22 minutes. We mentioned that Otacon is up. It's the new Otacon, the more difficult Otacon. I don't think it's something that people can take lightly, much less on spawn. So as we look towards that, got the next Ocean Dragon coming up in 3, have Baron coming up in 2.5. There's a lot to fight for, just not necessarily right now, as Krakadon engages onto Zats, and Zats just dies.
Beautiful pick there coming out from Galaxy. The Otacon is up, but like you just said, Hummus, this isn't something that you can instantly take. You can't just rush it, and I think Galaxy are saying, you know what? We don't want the Otacon. We want space. We need this mid-turret. We are going to focus it down, and I like this call from them, but you can see Curtain is calling.
All right, Icelandic, his hero is looking, but Kim down with the headbutt, gets the disengage. Needlework comes out as Icelandic goes. Kim down, flashing away as Kongji getting caught up, has a barrier but no cleanse. Kongji falls.
And Kongji stays in the radius of the Chains of Corruptions for just a little too long. Inori B slithers that ultimate onto the 80 carry of Prosperity, and they immediately find their target, Galaxy. They find the mid-tier 1, they find the 80 carry, and they win out on that trade. They further their gold lead from 2,000 to 4,000 now, Hummus. And it seems like Prosperity are just getting more desperate. This Nefiri can't do it all.
No, they can't, but they sure are trying. So, Quacks, we enter the part of the game where I ask you, our kills are even. Our gold is 3.5 at 24 minutes. As we have Baron on the map, as we have that next dragon on the map, what does Prosperity Gaming need to do to stem the flow of blood that is happening right now?
They just need to get a pick onto one of the carries of Galaxy. I mean, you could see there is a bounty on Cozy, there's a bounty on Ariandel, there's a bounty on Inori, who also doesn't have Flash. I think this Varus is definitely a vulnerable target, and Prosperity need to be setting up for these picks around this river if they want to try and pick up a kill. It's important now, too, as this dragon coming up in about a minute. You can see Galaxy are just clearing out a lot of this vision. They're at a man disadvantage, to be honest, but they are just completely unafraid. They know they're the stronger team at the current moment, and they have the backup if they get jumped on. Prosperity do not dare jump on them, though.
No, they don't. Baron is on the map. Dragon will be up in about 45 seconds time. Otacon down on the bot side of the map as well. And I can't help but feel like we're in the calm before the storm as that starts to engage. And Nori dodging out of that solar flare.
Oh, good ult.
Will land. Weaver's wall coming across as the curtains open. Zats is the first to fall, but shouldn't be the last. The fourth shot hitting Krakadon. The triple bounces the Nori B to his death. But on the backside, Cozy finding Zhongji, and the rest will fall as Galaxy Gaming does clean up Kim down, looking low, but it doesn't matter as Cozy finds a double.
And a Frozen Titan had a beautiful Shuriman shuffle, but it does not matter. Galaxy Gaming practically clean house in that mid lane fight. Prosperity are aced here, Hummus. The Otacon is up, the Dragon is up, the rewards on the map of Summoner's Rift are ripe for the taking as Galaxy Gaming are hungry to finish this game out.
And how quickly the tides have turned. Seems only fitting to make a tides joke. I mean, we're on an ocean rift here. But, I mean, this game was so even and so close for so long. And in the past 5 minutes, Galaxy Gaming has found the picks and the team fights they've needed. This gold lead that we're looking at is now almost 6,000, and Galaxy Gaming is on Soul Point if we get to Soul Dragon in 5 minutes, which Quacks, I think that's an if.
Hey, it's looking tough for Prosperity. I mean, you want to look and pay a lot of attention over toward this Varus, but who we haven't really been talking about a lot in this game is Cozy. 275 CS at less than 27 minutes. This Akali has more than 10 CS PM, has just been bing chilling throughout the entire game and quietly been assassinating anyone that comes his way. So, I mean, the solo laners deserve, I would say, just as much credit as the bot lane of Galaxy Gaming, if not more. It really has been a team effort so far, and that's what we want to see from this squad that we had so many questions about after the open qualifiers, if this new jungler could be their missing piece. But the pieces that still stayed there, Hummus, they're there for a reason, and we're seeing why in this game.
We are. Cozy has been that quiet assassin, like Akali's supposed to be, on the flank of these team fights. And I watched Galaxy Gaming just a little bit in open qualifiers. Krakadon, a great addition to this team. They wondered if he stepped up. Man's 2, 3, and 6 on the game, has set up some amazing kills for Nori B. And they're starting Otacon here at 28 minutes. Baron has started, and we might see the coveted Otacon for Baron trait. No, okay, cool. Good.
Ooh, yeah, no. Yeah, definitely not worth it for Galaxy. They can't afford to give this Baron up. This is a desperation play from Prosperity. Will it come through?
Weaver's wall coming across the top. Baron falling low. It's smiteable.
Okay.
Icelandic hero finds a smite, but Zap's going to be the first one falling low, flashing over the wall. Cozy looking for a Frozen Titan. Frozen Titan goes golden. All 10 standing, but not for long. Cozy finds one. Krakadon finds another. The Baron buff doesn't matter if you can't escape with it. Kongji recalled with it. Oh gosh, the top laner completely solidified. Also gonna get away with it. They keep 3 Barons.
They keep 3 Barons, they lose 2, but I honestly feel like that's not the end of the world for Prosperity. I mean, this Baron, not only is it good for pushing down lanes and you know, helping Siege, but it's just good for defense. Having the extra souped up minions makes it a little bit more difficult for Galaxy to bite through them and get to the meat that is those turrets. And so I am looking for Prosperity to use this to try and play defense and extend this timer just a little bit more for them to maybe find an angle onto Galaxy. But that maybe is really said with an asterisk, as now, yeah, the Otacon is being taken by Galaxy. The map is owned by these guys at this point, Hummus.
And solidified, trying to find that top turret with the Baron buff super minions, and Cozy's just there in support. Gonna make sure it doesn't fall. Icelandic hero on the top side as well, with the Frozen Titan heading on up. They're overloading this top side, and the only thing I can say is we will see what happens with it. And, I mean, it's just Cozy up there.
I mean, they're trying to bait Cozy into maybe looking for a kill onto Solidified. Icelandic, you know, thinking that he can maybe get a jump onto this Akali, but Cozy not going to fall for it. They are going to get that turret, but at this point, you know, we're almost 30 minutes in. That feels like chump change for lack of a better term. I mean, that dragon, or rather that turret, is really not going to make as much of a difference as much as you want it to for Prosperity, and so it is just going to be continued aggression for Galaxy. They are not concerned at all with that. The dragon coming up in about a minute here, Hummus, and Prosperity really have nothing to play for, no angle to really utilize. Galaxy just isn't giving them an inch.
And Baron is temporary, while Otacon is forever. At 45 seconds on the spawn of Dragon. The Baron buff completely worn off, or should be by then, if I can do my math right. And so that means that the Baron buff is great. They got a turret with it. Are they going to be able to steal away Soul without it? We will see.
The Q Smite combo from Nefiri does actually do quite a bit of damage, as hello control panel in the front of our screen.
We're gonna just watch the mini map. All right, the mid-tier one still standing. Krakadon starts to engage. Kim down on the bot side, looking into Zaps. Krakadon, Crescent Guard away, falling below half. Kim down also at half. Watch out for Cozy on the flank. There it is, but Zats scussed him out. Zenith Blade will land.
Yeah. It's a decent amount of chunks coming out here from Prosperity. They managed to find a lot of damage onto a Nori Krakadon. Kim down is a little bit above half HP, so they maybe can move further down in this river, but they're on a timer. You can already see Nori has recalled. He is coming back to the map. They've got to make a move now.
Randall gonna get us started. Does still have the Weaver's Wall. And Nori is back in the fight. And now Prosperity, Kim down with the engage. Weaver's Wall comes out. The curtains will open. Kim down's burning, but Zax is the first to fall. Icelandic Hero stuck in by the wall. Solidify getting stuck in pit. Meanwhile, Frozen Titan looking good. Cozy on a rampage somewhere around there as Arendelle cleans up the Azir. And as they find 4, Galaxy Gaming finds Soul.
And a Frozen Titan was looking for the Emperor's Divide play to save Prosperity, but unfortunately, Galaxy Gaming cannot be divided. They are united as they are 5 members strong. The Soul has been picked up. There isn't a minion wave, but this game might be all Shiro, Hummus.
Kong G flashing away from the feared Kim down, Alistar. If you are just joining us from the main Aegis channel, because they gave us a raid, shout out, welcome. We are toward the end of game number 1 here between Prosperity Esports and Galaxy Gaming, as these teams look to clinch their spot in playoffs here. And I gotta be honest with you, Quacks, I didn't know these teams that well, but Galaxy Gaming is impressing the crap out of me right now.
I mean, everyone thinks extremely highly of a lot of these players. You know, you've got NACL caliber players here in Kim down, in Arendelle arguably as well, in Cozy as well. So, you know, I literally just said Cozy was a NACL level player, and then he immediately pops the Zodias. But I mean, everyone is high on this team for a reason. It's because these individual talents on this squad are extremely good, and I love seeing that Krakadon can be sort of the glue that allows this team to go higher. There were a lot of questions about him pertaining to his involvement in this squad's performance, and so far, we have seen that in waves in game number 1.
Frozen Titan trying to start us off with a little bit of an engage. Cozy is around here. It's 2v2. Frozen Titan going low. Cozy cleans it up. Now Solidified is solidified with the ground as he falls yet again.
It's a double kill over to Cozy. The fancy footwork on the Akali. That's the enemy team's Akali right there. As a new challenger approaches, Prosperity are going to look onto Cozy. Can he outplay it?
Maybe, but they're taking Baron while this is happening. Cozy is just the distraction, and for taking 1v2, the distraction is winning. 1v3 now. Still winning, by the way. Solar Flare came down, missed it. Cozy goes golden. The Baron is out. Cozy stunned, rooted. Zenith Blade looking for something. Kongji barriering. Icelandic Hero falling low. Cozy.
No way. No way.
Cozy. Icelandic.
Dude, Cozy is a monster on this Akali! The flash from Icelandic be damned, the Akali finds her mark, gets the 1-for-1. The Baron was secured by Galaxy all that time, and now they're 4 members strong, marching onto the base.
Kim down, starting to engage under turret, and that just pops. Solidified looking to do something in the Shroud, but it's getting ganged up on by 4. Solidified double kill over to Inori B. Kim down says, I don't care what my backline's doing, I'ma keep going forward. The turret falls, and now all that stands is the Azir turret, and it's not enough as Crackodon goes on a killing spree. The clean ace picked up by Ariandel, and game 1 goes to Galaxy Gaming.
In convincing fashion, if I do say so myself, Hummus. Galaxy Gaming. We were looking at the drafts, and we were saying there was a lot going on there for Prosperity. We liked the picks. They had the Gwen Nefiri. They had the Exodia. But at the end of the day, it's the comfort picks that really make the difference. Cozy on his tried and true Akali. I said to you in the draft that this pick was famous, and now I hope you know why. This man is an absolute beast on the champion, and so unfortunate, though. I would say the only unfortunate thing about it is that we're not going to be able to see it again. This is Fearless.
I mean, for me, I am a huge fan of Fearless because I got to see all these wonderful champions come out. Even though it lost, shout out to Icelandic Heroes Nefiri.
Oh my God.
By the way, that is less damage than I thought it did. Okay.
That's a 30,000 damage Akali, though. I mean, look at the gold as well. The difference between Cozy and Solidified, a divide, if I do say so myself. An absolute canyon. So huge game win here for Galaxy. We said there was a lot riding on this win mentally as it was in terms of standing, and so they come out swinging. I'm really impressed with them. I'm really interested to see if they're going to be able to carry that on to game 2, or if Prosperity are going to be able to even out the scales a little bit going forward.
We talked about the mental as we were looking towards this series. Both teams fell last week from undefeated. For one of them going on a cold streak that you mentioned, well, if you're Prosperity Esports, now is the time to figure it out, lock in. You mentioned how the meta champions aren't always the greatest. As good as these players are, don't get me wrong, they are really good. Lord knows any one of them would murder me about 28 times by 3 minutes. As good as they are, sometimes what's meta isn't what you need to play because the better piloting on the champion. And I'm just so excited to see what Cozy plays next because the Akali, yes, it did damage. Yes, it was good. But better than that was the flank positioning to be able to get in on Kongji consistently. And if you're Prosperity Gaming, you didn't spot that out. And that feels to me a little bit like a major flaw as we look towards game number 2.
Yeah, definitely. So I am also excited to see what Cozy is going to bring out. He loves his AP mages in the top lane, and so I do think we'll probably be seeing at least one of those banned away, if not picked away, for game number 2. But the rest of Galaxy, my eyes are on them, and for Prosperity, like we said, it is up to them to bounce back here in this game 2 and in this series. But for now, we are going to take a small little break as we wait for the teams to prep for that game number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Salt Mine, where we look to answer the question, does Prosperity Esports have anything left in the tank to be able to turn this series around? I'm Hummus. I'm still joined by Quacks. Quacks, does Prosperity have something left that they haven't shown us yet?
I mean, I'm sure they have something, but I don't know if that's going to be effective enough to actually put a dent into Galaxy Gaming. I mean, in all honesty, it felt like the game was relatively close until around that 15-minute mark. Once Galaxy started grouping up, the game just felt impossible for Prosperity. And I feel like that says a lot when we were looking at that draft in game number 1 to be very team fight dominated by Prosperity. We said they had the superior scaling, they had good lockdown for the Nefiri, they had a lot of opportunities, I think, to really snowball that game out of control, especially with the lead that Icelandic got early on in the game. But as time went on, it became more and more clear that Galaxy were just better as a unit, as five. And I feel like in game number 2, it's going to be up to a stylistic change from Prosperity to turn this series around.
Well, as we talk towards the styles, what do you want to see, Quacks? If this was your team and you were the coach, because I think Coach Quacks sounds amazing personally, what would you have told these guys in the break?
I don't know if Coach Quacks sounds amazing. I've been called that by my Hardstuck Casterlow team, just a team full of casters that have played some games together. And I don't know, it doesn't really ring in my opinion, but who knows? I feel like from an outside looking in, it probably sounds better. But anyway, I feel like the better thing for Prosperity to go for is just give some more agency over to the other lanes. I felt like a lot of the onus was on Icelandic to get the baton across the finish line, but he didn't have anyone to really pass it to. He was the lone wolf in a team game, and you need to be able to have some of those other backup carries, and Prosperity just didn't have that. Once that Nefiri kind of lost his agency around that 20 to 25 minute mark, it felt like there were no cards that Prosperity could play that Galaxy weren't prepared for. You could see Zat really tried to get some stuff going, to get the ball rolling on that Leona, but it was just Uno reverse carded every single time. And so I do think that Prosperity need to look to equalize out the gold that they give to their carries if they want a chance of turning this series around.
We did highlight in that early game how 6 of the 7 early mid-game Prosperity kills were on Icelandic Hero. And I also do want to give a huge shout out to Kim Down, because that Uno reverse card you talked about, every time Zaz tried to go in, it was Kim Down on the disengage. Like, I'm like, oh, we're going, and then we're not going. And Kim Down was there, and I see why this guy was in the NACL. Like, it makes sense to me. We look towards draft for game number 2, we do have fearless bans, so we won't see the Kim Down Alistar, we won't see the Cozy Akali. The rest of the bans are at the bottom of your screen. What do you want to see, Quacks?
It's Prosperity on the blue side. It's Galaxy on the red side. We had this discussion a little bit between games, Hummus, about the importance of blue versus red. And our producer, Ice, kind of chimed in here, said that he always would like to take red side just due to that counter pick. And I think, honestly, with how effective we saw Cozy in particular on that Akali, I don't know, maybe giving B5 over to your solo laners has a little bit more value than what we sold in game number 1. So I can certainly see what Galaxy have in store for us. They just want to try and get the best matchups possible here for their solo laners. Prosperity, though, that Gwen's taken away, that Nefiri's taken away. They still have some strong B1 picks that they can slam down here in game number 2. I'm looking at that Ambessa and that Corki. To me, it really is just signaling where they want to play around here the second time.
If we take a look at the first set of bans, the Sejuani stays the same, the Tristana stays the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting old, my memory is going. The Vi is new from last game, I believe, yes?
I think it is, yes. I think maybe I believe it is actually, yes. So the Vi wasn't banned in game number 1. It is being taken off in game number 2. So this maybe signals that Prosperity are looking to pull out a more hyper carry focused ADC. Like we talked about, the Corki is certainly there. I think the cease and desist completely shuts down Corki. So I think Vi has a lot of value in being banned away for Prosperity if that's where their head is at. Or you could go for something a little bit more electric, so to speak. Something like the Zeri, which I know hates having to deal with the Vi. Nonetheless, nonetheless, I feel like Prosperity with that Vi ban and the Pantheon ban as well, just taking away a lot of these lockdown picks from Galaxy, are really just giving the ball over to this bot lane.
I would love to see Kongji on an ADC. We talked about having agency, all of that. The fact of the matter is that Jin never scales the attack speed because he can't. Needs the time and the ability to pump out the damage that he can offer, and Kongji wasn't offered that time, especially with Cozy coming in on the flank. As we round out the games, I'm excited to see what else he has in the kit, and the question is, does he get the blue 1 pick here?
I feel like the Corki is probably what they're going to be targeting first. Another popularity carry pick that they've gone for is things like the Sivir, just trying to maybe get that wave clear, put the game at a lull state and give timing over to Prosperity to scale. It just felt like in game 1, they didn't really have that timing, but like we said, it was probably going to be the Corki or the Ambessa, and Prosperity choose the latter. I like this pick. I think that this is certainly something that Solidify can do some damage on. I don't believe he has put this one out here on Summoner's Rift yet in the ACL regular season, so it'll be a first for the top laner of Prosperity, but still, that dueling power is strong, and the ability to catch out some of these backline targets on Galaxy is always going to be threatening.
For sure. For Galaxy Gaming, as we get started with their side, they're starting with the Ezreal. So we're looking at the mobility. We're looking at the ability to get away from things in a pinch. And Nori B's Varus looked good. I don't know why his Ezreal wouldn't look good.
Ooh.
And Ariandel pulls out the Aurelion Soul. And I'm going to say,
yes,
I saw this on the OPGG because I got the doc.
Yes.
Out. I saw it. It excited me. And then I went, there's no way we see this in competitive. Quacks, you're excited. Tell me about it.
I am excited. This is one of Ariandel's most infamous, if you're playing against him, I guess, picks that he has ever thrown onto Summoner's Rift. He absolutely loves this champion. And the best part, Hummus, he performs on it every goddamn time. This guy is so good on the A-Soul. I am so excited to see what he is going to do here in game number 2. I mean, they're called Galaxy Gaming for a reason, and what better way to, potentially slam the door on this series than to throw a Galaxy at Prosperity Esports.
All right. Well, if we take a second from the excitement of Aurelion Soul, there will be plenty of time to talk about that when he's on the Rift shaping his galaxies. We have the ADC support coming out from Prosperity Gaming. Yep. It's a Kai'Sa-Rakan combo. We know, I think Kai'Sa fits the bill perfectly of what we were looking for Kongji. I don't love the Rakan, and I think the Poppy's a fascinating answer into all these dashes.
Absolutely Exodia pick coming out here from Galaxy. This is going to be a, we talked about how important Kim Down was to wave number 2. That's what the Poppy is designed for, and that is what we're going to be seeing this time around. I will say, though, I am interested to see how this Rakan actually works. You said, Hummus, that you weren't a huge fan of it, and honestly, I'm a little bit in agreement. It feels like this pick is not only something that Prosperity wanted just to try and get a good combo for the bot lane, but also to deny it potentially from Kim Down, because this is one of his most popular support picks. So it feels like that is a bit of a missed pick from Prosperity. I'm interested to see, though, how it will shake out.
I am excited to see what Zats does with it. Rakan, different. I mean, a support meta right now really is. I mean, we talked about the lanes and how they're not in a rut.
Quite
I think
diverse.
That was in pre-show. Support's kind of in a rut. It is your tank engages that are predominant in this game. Rakan is not that. I'm interested to see how that works out for Prosperity Gaming.
It's your tank engages and Lulu. Don't ever forget about Lulu. Champ is nerfed 5 times in a row and is still relevant. But anyway, as we move away from the supports, we get toward the second phase of picks. Galaxy now, what is going to be their answer toward this top lane? I would imagine Galaxy just want to likely give... I mean, it's interesting because you could counter pick B5 here with top lane and potentially wait. But then or you could do both. Nidalee actually going to be the lock-in here. for Galaxy. Hummus, I don't know how up to date you are on the top lane meta at the current moment, but a lot of top laners have been putting out the Nidalee support. You take Grasp, you look to be a nuisance in the lane, and you look to be extremely tanky coming out of the lane and into team fights. You also split push decently well, and with your traps, you also get a lot of vision. And so I think that this is a really, really smart flex here from Galaxy, because now you can throw it into support, you can throw it into top lane, and they get to pick and choose after Prosperity throw down the Jason brand.
And my face is doing a lot of things while you're talking, because I'm thinking through the implications of the Jace and the brand. And I guess my question to you, Quacks, is I'm seeing a lot of different permutations that this draft could take. I mean, we could have the brand AP jungle, we could have the brand in a lane, we could have Ambassador jungle.
It's brand
Jace
jungle.
goes top or mid. What are we seeing here? And also, why is it Maokai?
I mean, to answer your question about the brand first, it's definitely brand jungle. This is something that Icelandic has actually played in the past in the ACL, and I think he is really more privy to a lot of those more magic damage heavy scaling junglers. So I think brand really fits the bill. Jace as well is something that we know a Frozen Titan likes to covet in the mid lane. So I think that rounds out the comp. Maokai in the jungle, though, I think is really interesting. I'm a little bit worried about the damage profile from Galaxy in the early game. I mean, obviously, you look at that late game, Aurelion Sol, Ezreal, Nidalee, going to be dealing a lot of damage, but for the most part, these are your quintessential late game hyper carries, not so much in the early game. And so I think this gives a clear window of opportunity over to Prosperity to maybe look and try and steal away some early dragons, look toward those grubs, and maybe juice up some of the many carries on their comp, because we talked about how diverse Prosperity can be and how they can basically carry through any lane they want. This is the kind of comp that we're talking about. There is dynamic in every single lane. You can see each and every one of these champions being put on a weak side pendulum and then tangentially, inversely, put on a strong side pendulum. And so I think Prosperity had the opportunity to pick and choose in this early game. It's just a matter of choosing correctly, and not, for my Indiana Jones fans out there, he chose poorly.
My concern is, we looked at game one draft, Quacks, and we came out of there going, Prosperity's got these carries, they're going to do fine. Yeah. They're going to get there. They didn't capitalize on the timer. And so forgive me if you're a Prosperity fan, if I'm a little leery of their ability to execute. What I do know is we're on the Rift for game number 2 here, where Galaxy Gaming seeks to put their mark on the game, and Prosperity seeks to be prosperous for once in a couple of series. Yeah. We're on the Rift, Quacks.
Definitely are, and Prosperity and Galaxy are actually both barreling down to top lane. Oh, please tell me we see an LPL-style fight. Second game here, let's get to it.
We are face checking the bush. We have the fight, and Ariandel getting all the stacks from it as the abilities fly first. Blood finds a Nori B. Krakadon able to escape there. Cozy gets the solidified flash out and is now looking for more than he can go. But Cozy, the trade, Kongji finds it. Zat's on the uptick, engage. And are we okay? I think we're okay. It's a 1-for-1 as the ADC is going to kill. But perhaps more importantly, Ariandel got stacks.
Oh, absolutely. Ariandel gets stacks, but both ADCs, like you mentioned, Thomas, first to get the kill, they're both going to pick up a dagger. So bot laners of both squads going to be bearing their fangs going forward. I also like the, resolve from both of these teams to, for the most part, save their flashes in that level 1. The only one, the imposter, if you will, is solidified as he burns his flash. So this maybe gives an opportunity over to Cozy, and who knows, maybe Krakadon to capitalize off of that and try to punish this Ambessa.
Indeed. Meanwhile, I mean, it's Ariandel versus Titan, and Ariandel... Okay, the fact that a level 1 Aurelion Sol is looking this terrifying to me is fascinating, and I see why we were hyping this champion up in draft.
Oh, I mean, everyone loves the Ariandel special that is the Aurelion Sol, and I mean, this is why he's level 2, just looking to lay the hurt onto a Frozen Titan. The man is zoned off from his own wave, so this will give plenty of priority over to Krakodon. Maokai, a champion that I think can be really proactive with, the least amount of resources possible. So if he wants, double priority in your solo lanes, finishing up your bot side quadrant, he could maybe look to invade on Icelandic's blue side.
Frozen Titan trying to get something going in that lane. Does have he has the burst over Aurelion Soul, which sounds really funny because like Aurelion Soul kind of has the burst thing, but it doesn't work out very well in the early game. But what I'm most excited for right now is the fact that the bot lane is recalling right now, and I'm a little intrigued. Okay.
It's just Kongji that recalls. You can see Zats is staying on the map, maybe looking to just lay down some vision or get some agency in the mid lane. Ariandel does have flash, so there is defense for the A-Soul.
And he smelled that one coming a mile away. I mean, backed off, played the lane beautifully. Yes, it's an Aurelion Soul. Movement speed isn't necessarily great until you get that flight going, but when you don't even need a flash, you're doing fine. As we do see Kim down roaming up towards that mid side. And are we going to have a fight over top Scuttle Crab?
Oh, yeah! This is the jungler special. We got supports roaming for the crab. Okay, here we go.
Krakodon engages us with the flash, and we're getting it started. Cozy gets the damage down, the burn coming. Krakodon falling low. Frozen Titan gonna clean it up first. Cozy looking for his lightning terror. We're gonna get sent up. Kim down around. Ariandel finds a kill. And now we're looking Zat's full health. Solidified, looking burning. Icelandic hero is low enough. Solidified will not be able to find this. Cozy flash is stunned up. Solidified still lives. Solidified falls. Fetal warfare going over, but this is alive longer than Frozen Titan teleporting back into the fight. But there is no fight left as Galaxy Gaming clean it up.
It's a disaster for Prosperity Esports on the top crab. They actually had superior positioning. Cozy and Krakodon found themselves in the middle of a 2v4, but Ariandel makes the difference on the A-Soul 3, 0, and 2. Ariandel's A-Soul has the sauce, man. What else can I say?
Can production get us a stat count on this pretty please? Because
I want one too. Holy moly.
37.
Oh, 37 at 5 minutes is yikes. So Prosperity, you have a clear champion that you have to target. Here we go.
Ariandel, they heard you. They're targeting. The proc is down. Ariandel does not have the flash. Used it earlier. Will not be able to live as Frozen Titan grabs the shutdown.
Good switch there from Frozen Titan into the range form to get the additional damage on the transformed melee. It seals the deal for Ariandel. Frozen Titan did have flash, so might have had to follow with that. Would have gotten the kill either way, but still manages to save that spell for a later time in case he is the one getting jumped on by Krakodon. Good response there from Prosperity. You could see a Frozen Titan now picking up that Dirk, so should be able to really punish this Aurelion Soul regardless of those 3 kills that he already picked up.
Well, yes, and then Ariandel just becomes inevitable and wormholes take up lanes, and we will see what comes from it. What we do have right now in the bot side is that starting the engage, and Nori B falling low, and Nori B pops the barrier, needs to be very careful, flashing away, but the engage Kongji finds it.
And Kim down's steadfast presence wasn't enough to stop Zats from the engage onto a Nori B. It's a kill given over to Kongji, but what's worse, Hummus, is it's both summoners burned by a Nori B. As we got no time to talk about that, Krakodon may be in trouble.
Yeah, just kind of burning, because Icelandic hero is all fire, no ice. Cozy looking for something, solidified fall. Holy damage!
Yeah, I mean, it's no kill going up toward the top side, but it is still some pressure in that lane. Krakodon is actually staying on the map. He was on vision. He almost died. Icelandic almost managed to find that kill, but he manages to live by the skin of his teeth.
The bark of his tree, I think, actually, because it's Maokai. I digress. First dragon up on the map. Grub's gonna be up on the map here in about a minute. And then after that, this ball starts, well, okay, it's been rolling, actually. I would like to highlight game 1 at this point in the game. I think we had 2 kills. Right now we have 9. So both these teams really want to get scrappy with it. And that's okay. Missile's gonna go wide on Inori there.
Yeah, no kill to be had. Dragon is up, and you can see at the current moment, Frozen Titan does have flash, but maybe in trouble.
And Triton flashing away is burning. Kim down looking, Krakadon there in support. There is no Nature's Grasp yet, but Inori B coming around. Inori B finds a kill, and now the turn towards Zats and Kongji. Icelandic on the flank. Maybe. Hiding.
Yeah. Hiding for the time being. Still though, good pickup by Galaxy. Love that Krakadon drops his blue to help out, pick up the lone Hextech inventor at the time, and so they pick that kill up. Give it over to Inori as well, which I think is really, really smart. You know, we talked about making sure that, well, this was more for Prosperity, but we said they couldn't put all of their eggs in one basket, but that applies to Galaxy as well, right? Making sure that your gold is evenly dispersed amongst your carries is extremely important, and so they give the kill over to Ezreal. He's now 2-1. Ariandel is still 3-1. You're setting up your late game carries to be extra impactful, and I think this is really good from Galaxy early on.
Sure is. We've got eyes on Grubs, and Krakadon does have the Nature's Grasp for this one. 2 rooted up. Grubs will burn. Frozen Titan gonna get the stun down. Damage in goes for Titan. Arendelle on the backside. Krakadon falling low. Could flash over the wall if he needed to. The wormhole. Frozen Titan falling. Krakadon finds the kill. Meanwhile, Solidified. True Shot Barrage coming in across the top. Solidified caught in the middle of 3. The flashing away, but it doesn't much matter as all eyes turn as Icelandic Hero burns.
It's Solidified. He misses the crucial public execution. Ariandel and the rest of Galaxy Gaming, they lose the objective, but they run wild, Hummus. They pick up 2. The Dragon is still up, unclaimed by either team. And I really want to see Galaxy get on that. They get the 2 kills, but they aren't able to transition it into any bot side vision or pressure.
No, they're not. Meanwhile, Inori B and Kongji just trading. Zat's going to beat Kim down here. Will get spotted on vision. And now as things reset towards the bot side, Inori B does some solid damage.
Definitely does. Having that Phage plus the Sheen, really just looking to get closer and closer toward that Trinity Force. And this is a good sign for Galaxy. Ezreal, you know, often talked about as a champion that is really looked at to be a 3-item, 2-item power spike kind of character, but if he's able to do that kind of damage at less than 1 item, it's, you know, a lot of really positive implications for Galaxy Gaming going forward in terms of the damage profile, which we said we were most worried about, mind you, going into Game 2.
We sure did. Top side of your map, Cozy, low on mana, trying to recall. Solidified is getting the pressure down up there. Bot side, Kim down has the health advantage as they look for the trade. And Cozy, I mean, this man has stones. Had stones on the Akali, has stones on the Nidalee. And it's just staying, and it looks so good and so easy.
Solidified has to be the one to make up the distance, right? And actually damage Cozy in meaningful ways, because I'm pretty sure this Nidalee is putting more points into that heal. So the sustain from this pick is really making it difficult for this Ambessa to actually get any meaningful advantages or trades onto this Nidalee when they can just heal it up. So I like how, you know, Cozy is playing with confidence, knowing that he can immediately remedy the damage that Ambessa does, as Kongji maybe not be able to.
Ooh, missile goes just short. Ignite burning will not be enough. With that said, though, Krakadon started up Dragon. Ariandel roamed down. We had 4 towards the bot side of this map just to get the vision clear and know that this first Dragon is going to go the way of Galaxy Gaming.
Yeah, they got priority in bot lane, priority in mid lane. So that will be easy pickings. A little bit later than I would have liked to have initially seen from Galaxy, given how important it is that this comp, you know, get that scaling under control as soon as possible. But hey, you know, better late than never. Galaxy gonna pick that one up, and it will also give them time to maybe roam around the map a little bit more. They desync the objectives from spawning on top of one another, and that means that they can be a little bit more sequential with how they play the game, just going from one objective to another, and doing so as a unit, most crucially.
Absolutely, and as we watch turret plates fall here in a couple of minutes, we're looking for that Rift Herald in a few minutes, Mountain Dragon in 4. the scaling to get us there is important. The gold lead about 2,000 towards Galaxy Gaming right now. It's 12 minutes. It took us 20 minutes to get that much of a gold lead in game 1. It's there. It's powerful if they can translate it towards a game and series win here.
That definitely is on the table as Cozy is just, laying the hands on to Solidified. He's not even really chucking out the spears en masse or throwing down his abilities. He's just staying in human form, throwing out auto attacks as Frozen Titan.
Ooh, Sky's Ascend is big one. Kim down here in support. Frozen Titan falling already low, and Ariandel flying as Frozen Titan falls. Bot side, though, and Nori B gonna get caught out as Kongji goes on a killing spree. Top side, Krakadon pops to Nature's Grasp as Cozy goes in. The public execution does land, but Solidified and Icelandic Hero both low as the spears from Cozy looking damaging. The smite comes down. Krakadon takes a turret shot, and that turret is so low.
It's no kill secured for Galaxy on the top side. I mean, they get one in mid lane. It's a trade across the map. But Galaxy, they bully out the top jungle duo of Prosperity enough to secure that first turret. And now there's action on the bot side, Hummus.
We have teleports coming in left, right, and center. Ariandel finds the first one with the engage. Kim down, looking to get on out of there. Keeper's Verdict goes missing. Frozen Titan gets some good damage down, but for 2v3, they can't secure anything.
Absolutely. So a good look there from both teams to try and throw down subsequent Uno reverse cards onto that bot lane, try to turn it in their favor. But at the end of the day, neither team really going to get a major advantage. Ariandel, though, able to pick up all of that CS, further those stacks on the ultimate. That Stardust accumulating ahead of what could be a potential dragon fight later down the line. It is still around 2 minutes away from spawning. But every little bit helps, and Ariandel being able to get that Sky's Descend going to significantly increase the chances that Galaxy pick that second Drake up.
Indeed, they will. I'm also keeping an eye. Ariandel grabbed the Dark Seal, only has 2 stacks on it. He picked it up relatively recently, but it is there. And as we look towards the infinite stacking of the Aurelion Soul through those stacks of Stardust, the Dark Seal just kind of helps everything. Zat's looking for the engage onto Nori B, but Nori B not as defenseless as he may appear. Kim down and Krakadon are both here because Rift Herald is spawning in just about 20 seconds.
Yeah, so the Herald going to be the big threat that both of these teams likely try to pry themselves toward, but it's so hard to get vision on Galaxy. It's so hard to even walk up against Galaxy, not only because you have the saplings from the Maokai that you have to chew through with that Leandri's Torment in tow for Krakadon, but also the Nidalee traps deal a decent amount of damage. If not the damage, then they at the very least reveal you. So there are just so many tripwires that Prosperity have to avoid ahead of all of these objectives. It might just prove to be too much.
Speaking of the engage onto Ariandel, the stun comes down, but the shutdown to Kongji. They'll find 2 turret shots in the mid side. The trade back is trying to find Zats, and it will not. Teleport coming in as Cozy goes to the bot side. Try and clean things up. The turret will fall, but the teleport is still good. Rift Herald started. Nature's Grasp comes out. Will find one. True Shot Barrage coming across the top. Zap's falling low. Icelandic Hero and a flash away. Zap's on the engage. Doesn't matter, but the Pyroclasm comes down. Public execution. Kim down. Eats it all. And will fall. Solidified dashing out with that 1 kill.
Yeah, so Solidified. Prosperity almost with a heist, if you will. Managing to get that kill. Turn that fight. And although it is a turret traded on the bot side by Cozy, Prosperity showing that they can scrap in these fights, that they can bite back when it's time to look for these exchanges. And so I do think that at the very least shows promise in Prosperity's comp to be able to, fight back against Galaxy. But still, the fact remains that Galaxy are still ahead in gold. They still have a ton of damage. They still have a 5-2 Aurelion Soul at 16.5 minutes, Hummus. There are quite a bit of hurdles and mountains that Prosperity need to get over if they want to have this game in a little bit more of a stable position.
Well, the good news is the Rift Herald taken, and the Eye actually picked up this time. If you remember game 1, the fight afterwards meant that the Eye wasn't picked up. And the first mountain to get over involves that mountain dragon on the bot side of the map. It is a neutral objective that is up. Zats with the engage. Ariandel coming in around. Kim down on the engage. They're doing this under turret. Zats falling low. Ariandel can't quite find the kill. Two-shot barrage coming across from Inori B. Kongji 4-0 in his own right, but Cozy just gonna tank this turret. Woo! Okay, Inori B now Kongji takes the message in. Frozen Titan finds Inori B as well. Arendelle gonna trade the 1 kill away as Kongji will fall. They find 2 off a Killer Instinct.
Beautiful snap decision making there by Kongji. He trades his life for it, so whether or not it's worth is debatable. But still, they find themselves kills. They find themselves an opportunity. They're gonna march onto the dragon. And I feel like Galaxy, without their AD carry, without their top laner, with Ariendel in no real position to fight, they are just going to pick that one up, equalize that neutral objective count for both teams. Prosperity fighting and biting back when it matters most.
And while this isn't their season on the line by any stretch of the imagination, it may feel like it. We talked about that a little bit earlier. But as we look at this Prosperity Gaming, they are only 400 gold down. Now, the concern that I have, Quacks, is Ariendel 6-2-4. If we could get a stack count on him, that would be wonderful. But while we're getting that, Ariendel, we know he infinitely scales. We know...
Oh, he has the big one, by the way. He has the big Sky's Descent. You can see it on the HUD. Ooh, solidified.
Looking for Kim down. We're bouncing into the Dragon Pit. Lands public execution. And the Charm Kongzi finds Krakadon. And that poor tree didn't know what chopped him down.
I mean, Solidified initially caught out there. He says, call an ambulance, but not for me. Turns the fight on its head. The Herald is popped in the mid lane. They're going to look to charge this one down and break the mid lane open.
Ariendel is here. True Shot Barrage across the top. Kim down, gonna fall to Kongji as the turret falls behind it now. Ariendel, Killer Instinct from Kongji will not quite find Inori. Ariendel falling, but getting those stacks down comes the big one. Finds Icelandic Hero, but Kongji finds the kill. We wanted Kongji to be on Agency. How does 8-1 sound for Agency?
Oh, it sounds amazing as Kongji maybe looking for more. Cozy's going in.
Nature's Grasp finds 2, but not Kongji. That's falling low. Needs to be a little bit careful. There is no follow-up. There is a blue buff, though.
There is.
There is a blue buff.
So, big thing there for Prosperity, but at the same time, they are turning this game around. Hummus Galaxy. Initially, it was looking so good for them. Ariendel 3-0-2 to start this game off on his famous Aurelion Soul. Cozy getting that first turret as well. But Kongji on the bot lane has slowly been growing a gold lead, has slowly been accumulating items. Now sitting at 8-1 on this Kai'Sa. The question really is, can Prosperity peel enough damage from Galaxy in order to let this man run loose?
We will see. Kim down, Ariendel, they're starting with the engage here. Kongji not in the area quite yet. Chemtech Dragon, we'll have a Chemtech Soul, by the way. That's going to come out in about 2 minutes' time. Ariendel, we did get the stat count a little while ago. It was a 212. So these wormholes are now basically big enough to cover a lane, and the flight span is massive. If there is a fight, Ariendel will be there.
Oh, he absolutely will, but you look across the board and see Prosperity have a lot of tools to be able to discourage and dissuade these extended trades from Asol, but here, let's go, let's see what happens.
I said Zats wasn't tanky. I stand corrected. The Nature's Grasp comes out. Kongji does have the Killer Instinct.
Oh, Kongji!
He'll take it under turret. Down comes the falling star. Kongji falling low, and Nori B getting some good damage. Ariendel, public execution. Ariendel will fall, and now under turret.
Ooh.
Solidified, trying to solidify Prosperity into a game number 3 here. They find 2.
And Kongji doesn't reap any of the rewards, but he instigates the fight. Prosperity follow up from the Killer Instinct. The reward will be the mid lane tower on top of those 2 kills. You can see Galaxy trying to trade Cozy, wanting that tower, but Solidified, he's here to run interference.
Indeed he is. What's funny is we saw this in reverse last game with Cozy running interference on a tower. Now, we look at the gold lead, about 1,500 in favor of Prosperity Esports. But if we look at where that gold is, it's on Kongji. Kongji has Flash and Barrier up as we look towards this next fight. Has 3 items, which granted, they're some of the cheaper items, but 3 items nonetheless. Otacon up on the top side of the map. And Kim down might be in a position here. 3 collapsing in. Kim down will just fall.
He's a little bit cooked, and I mean, he dies right next to the Otacon. You couldn't have gift wrapped the objective over to Prosperity if you tried any harder. They're just gonna pick that one up ahead of the Dragon as well. They don't lose anything really for it. Galaxy tries, they might maybe set up around the bot side. They're down a man for the next couple of seconds, so it really isn't going to make a huge difference. They're not even concerned about the Dragon, Hummus.
My God! Kongji just stopping a Nori B with the killer instinct. And now Krakadon building not full tank, building AP actually with the Leandres. Looking for Krakadon. Ariandel finds the shutdown. And Krakadon will live.
Ariandel, he breathes stars onto Kongji and makes him see stars all the same. So 80 carry down for Prosperity. Galaxy get the green light to go for their second Dragon of the game. But look on the other side of the map, Prosperity, I mean, they are playing the map so smartly, Hummus. They trade on the top side, get another turret, and just continue to stretch Galaxy thinner and thinner, force them to make more quick snap decision-making possibilities.
Sure does. What we're looking at right now is we're looking at a 2,000 gold lead for Prosperity. We're looking at them on the cusp here at 23 minutes. I'd argue one major team fight away from snapping this base. Ariandel, 8-4. Maybe the shining star, or the falling star, as the case may be, for Galaxy Gaming. But the thing is, that as we discovered in game number 1, one hero is not enough. They need a second. Who will the second be from Galaxy Gaming be? The answer is going to be not Kim down.
I mean, Kim down. Oh, he gets stunned up.
Whoa, does dodge falling star land? Isolated hero gets caught out. Anori finds a kill. Cozy, the true shot barrage. Cozy finds Zats. Galaxy finds 2. Solidified has no teleport, has to run. Kongji, killer instincting away, doesn't matter. Krakadon finds a kill. Public execution goes wide, and now it's a Nori B waiting for the rest of the team.
And it's Kim down. He reels them in. He is the bait, and the rest of Galaxy smack Prosperity down. Baron is going to be up in 10 seconds. You can see Galaxy are waiting for it to spawn. Prosperity, their solo laners are up. They are looking to do what they've always done, trade around the map, but Cozy is more than willing and ready to fight this.
Minion wave pushing in the mid lane towards that inhibitor turret, Cozy saving out the bot side tower. Baron falls, but more importantly, all 5 members of Galaxy Gaming are now wearing purple.
Yeah, absolutely. Galaxy finding a way to potentially come back into this game. It was looking grim for them. Kongji was so fed on the Kaisa, but the last couple of minutes, the shutdown over to Ariandel, him falling toward the top side of the map. Prosperity, they have been bruised, and Galaxy are just trying to hit him where it hurts as much as possible.
They sure are. We take a small breath for a second here. The next Dragon up in about 2.5 minutes. Now the game is getting those waves pushed in with Baron. We're seeing a we're seeing a 4-1 split more or less with Cozy pushing in that bot side. And the question is, does Prosperity have enough oomph to take a fight when they're not wearing purple? The answer is Nature's Grasp coming out, True Shot Barrage coming down, Falling Star, Icelandic Hero does not die. Krakadon on the flank, Ariandel does not have that around. Ariandel finally finds the kill, but Kongji does not have an entrance angle.
And the burn manages to finish Icelandic off. The Baron buff is still active. There's a wave in bot lane, and Galaxy Gaming are looking to push forward, Hummus.
And as the first inhibitor turret falls, the first inhibitor should shortly after. Kongji on the recall is back on the map now. They take inhibitor and they exit. Smartly, maybe Cozy over the wall. Ariandel getting a little EDF down, because why not?
I mean, at this point, Ariandel really is just lore accurate, Aurelion Sol. 9, 4, and 7. 3 items. Probably has the ability, once he goes back the next time, to just put that ring into a book. I imagine we'll probably be seeing a Magi's there for the A-Soul. And I mean, why not? He's got the defense from Krakodon. Kimdown and Krakodon really have been doing such a good job at initiating every single fight. And the follow-up from Ariandel in Inori B, it's like clockwork. They do it the same every single time, but the execution is flawless every single time. And Prosperity just don't really have an angle over the past couple of minutes to really punish that. They will have to try, though. I mean, this dragon is up in about 30 seconds. This could be Prosperity's last opportunity before the scaling of Galaxy gets out of control.
It is 27 minutes in. Ariandel has had multiple of his big ultimates. I believe has another one teed up right now, if I'm reading my HUD correctly. I play A-Soul. You would think I would know what it looks like, and yet I don't.
Oh, he's got the Sky's Descent primed and ready.
All right, Absolutely. Now the question as we head towards this team fight is, can Kongji find the angle? And the answer is, Prosperity Gaming isn't taking this dragon. They are committing towards the top side. Solidified, excuse me, trying to find those turrets, get the push in. And if you're just going to give away Soul Point like this, then, I mean, Galaxy Gaming's going to take it.
I mean, it's a little bit rough for Prosperity to do that. I mean, sure, you don't really have the vision, you don't really have the ability to contest that dragon, but still, Prosperity getting it for little to nothing in Repercourse really feels bad for them. And it just, you know, continues to be. Galaxy have outscaled this game. Now it's going to be even harder to take down the 3 frontliners of Galaxy Gaming. And, you know, arguably worse, the 2 backliners are tankier as well. How are you going to be able to kill this Aurelion Sol? I feel like Prosperity just don't have an answer.
Well, they may for right now. I know they won't in about 5 minutes time. Ariandel has the damage. He has the stacks. I mean, look how big those wormholes are. And if there's a time for Prosperity Gaming, it needs to come soon. We've been saying that, but the fact of the matter is, when you're going into an infinitely stacking champion, there is a timer. And the timer for that top tier 2 turret was right then and there.
Absolutely. Ooh. I mean, Ariandel still has the Sky's Descent, so Galaxy, to be honest with you, could just walk around the map with impunity. They have the big flashy ultimate that basically is like a master key into any play that you possibly want as Galaxy Gaming, and as long as Prosperity aren't able to really force and burn that, they're just going to keep getting chipped away here and losing turrets slower and slower. Potentially losing the Baron as well as we look ahead. That is coming up in a little less than a minute, and Prosperity, I feel like, I mean, it's tough. I really feel like I sound like a broken record here, Hummus, but honestly, the walls are closing in for Prosperity, and that's surprising given how promising this game 2 was.
Well, the True Shot Barrage, Nature's Grasp comes out, a Slain Akira flashing away, but it does not matter. He will fall, and Nori B picking up the kill. And as Baron spawns in 30 seconds, the jungler will not be alive. I'm going to spare you from sounding like a broken record for a second. I will say that Kongji has the Zhonya's completed as we look towards this return fight here. Ariandel popped a recall. Baron on the map in 20 seconds. Ariandel teleporting in. Cozy on the flank angle. Kimdown turning engaged. Flying in. Zats falling. That's 2. Here comes the big one. Kongji goes golden but solidified. Will get stunned up. Turret is out and hitting. Cozy, Krakodon gonna find it. Inori B there falls. Turret, True Shot Barrage goes. And Galaxy Gaming pivot towards the Baron for the 2nd time.
And Galaxy don't manage to find more than 2 kills, but they don't need to, Hummus. They immediately pivot onto the Baron. Prosperity are chunked enough that they cannot contest. They also have to catch the waves coming through in bot lane. So another objective falls into the hands of Galaxy Gaming, potentially the last Baron of this game and of this series, as they will recall as 5 and look to put a nail on this coffin.
And for Galaxy Gaming, it's more than a series win on the line. It is a guaranteed spot in ACL playoffs. It is proving any doubters they might have had after NACL OQs wrong. And it is showing that Crackodon was an upgrade to their roster and that he was a good choice. And I mean, I believe in Crackodon and I believe in Galaxy right now. Zats looking.
It's hard not to. The stars are aligned. The Galaxies are hitting Prosperity like a truck. And Prosperity really have no answer at this point. They have been outscaled. They can't damage the front line. They can't clear out these waves. Maybe they can get a kill on Nori.
B will start, but he's still over half health. Kim down in support. Nature's Grass comes out around the top. Ariandel does not have the falling star yet. Anori falling low. Ariandel falling low, but Anori still free firing. There's the falling star. Kongji, Killer Instinct, still can't find a kill. Cozy, here comes teleport from Solidified. Ariandel's recalling. We got that. There we go. Back to mid lane. Kim down, getting the Keepers of Verdict, and everybody has to reset.
Prosperity sent Galaxy Gaming running for the hills. They turned the fight on its head and now might have the opportunity to get some vision on this bot side, get a foothold on this Dragon Pit. But Galaxy, they still have the Baron. They still have the Aurelion Soul. Look at those wormholes. The push from this champion just cannot be challenged. And now it is Soul on the line for Galaxy. If they get this, it might just be the game win, the series 2-0, Hummus.
Kongji does have the Zhonya's as we look at this, but the Prosperity does not have an angle into this fight. That is Chemtech Soul, and now Nature's Grass coming out across the top. Frozen Titan gets popped, and he's on the gray screen. Now Cozy pushing forward, the waves pushing forward. Ariandel catching that bot wave, going to start escorting it in. The recalls from Prosperity, they have one more fight, and if they lose it, it is all over.
Yeah, Prosperity, they have one more chance, and they have to do it in a 4v5 situation. Baron on the other team, Soul with them as well. All the cards are stacked against them. They need an ace in the hole in order to turn this one around.
Unfortunately, there is no Caitlyn on the map. And as this Baron continues to push in, we've got 2 waves of super minions spawning in at base. Cozy is falling low, gonna bring the fire back towards his team. Kongji has the damage, is up to 5 items now. I swear it's not 8 at night. I swear I can do math. Nature's Grass coming out. Here comes the ultimate. The Icelandic hero just falls. Public Execution goes wanting. Solidified, looking for something, but Kongji will not fall. The turret will instead. Ariandel on the flight. Cozy on the flank, pulling Solidified towards the team. True Shot Barrage coming through across the top. Baron has worn off. Cozy just eating damage. Kim down. Kongji goes golden. Minions working on the tower. Crackodon under. Fountain still lives. Shut down as Kongji finds it. But there are no summoners. There is no more time. As Ariandel looking to clean it up. Finds not one. Oh my god, the fountain! It killed 3! Kongji looking for the Quadra. Will find it. And they, oh my god, Nexus is at half health.
And Galaxy, I mean, they're happy gaming! It's a triple kill over to Kongji! And they're gonna play Balloons Tower defense. They're trying to save their base from the super minions. But I don't know if they can turn this one around. They will push out the waves, but they aren't able to threaten the game. They aren't able to threaten the series. Galaxy Gaming, even though they all die, their hopes are still very much alive.
And I mean, I can't help but say Galaxy Gaming, maybe we could have ended the game right there. Maybe we should have respected the fact that Fountain still does damage, even if the enemy champions do not. Kongji found 4 kills. Kongji now has both the Void Staff completed and the Rabadons. This is a full AP for the most part. Kai said that it's going to start hurting when those missiles hit. If, and this is the big if Kongji can find the angle into these fights.
It's a full build Kai'Sa. I mean, you've got the brand closing in on 4 items as well. Prosperity, there is still a chance that they can turn this game around, that they can put this series on their back as Kongji goes in.
Kim down falls low. Kongji gonna get caught out. Icelandic hero pops fire blast, but will burn in return. True Shot Barrage gonna miss everything. Kongji trying to get the damage down. Ariandel goes golden. Ariandel finds the kill. And as Nori B works the cleanup, Titan and Solidified are on the run to defend the base. Because it's going to be a 4v2 pushing in.
It's going to be a 4v2. Cozy and Ariandel are going for the resets, but they have the teleport available. They are both going to sync those ones up, join their teammates, join their compatriots as they march down mid.
Solidified doing everything they can, but it's not enough as Ariandel finds the kill. Frozen Titan not even back at base, teleporting towards the top wave, but it doesn't matter. They may have fumbled once, but they hit the Nexus the second time. Galaxy Gaming is going to playoffs.
4-1 series record for Galaxy Gaming. And we had so much discussion, so much discourse on what the expectations were for this team going into this week. And hell, even before that, going into the ACL in general, where this team would rank amongst the top. And they are showing up. They are exactly where so many people placed them. They are going to make it into the playoffs, like you said, Hummus. And a huge, huge shout out to all of the players. But in particular, I gotta give the shout outs over to Cozy and Ariandel. They proved that comfort triumphs all. A banger Akali game followed by a banger Aurelion Sol game. You give these guys the champions that they're famous for, and they will perform magic.
And magic they did. I do want to say, was not for lack of trying. Icelandic hero on the Nefiri tried and fell short. Kongji on the Kai'Sa tried and fell just short. I mean, 53,000 damage off of the Kai'Sa is in no way nothing to sneeze at. But it just, we talked about putting eggs in one basket, and I fear that Prosperity Gaming's basket had a hole in the bottom of it.
Yeah, unfortunately it did. I mean, all of the onus was on Kongji to carry this game, just like all of the onus was on Icelandic to carry game number 1. And so it really felt like, you put all your eggs in one basket and suddenly, like you said, there's a hole through it. So they all end up breaking. Your golden goose ends up getting put in the oven of Galaxy Gaming. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it is only a 2-0, but I still feel like Prosperity showed up on the day, and this is certainly a team that I am expecting to see in the playoffs. Now, we talked about the implications of losing this series. Not only do you not qualify, but you were a 3-0 team that now sits at 3-2. So a little bit of a cold streak. I think really looking forward, the onus is going to be on Prosperity's mental to fortify itself and move forward, because they still are only 1 series away from that 4 mark to making playoffs. And I really hope these last couple of weeks don't change anything about their gameplay, because what we saw, Hummus, I was still really impressed by.
They looked solid. If I could say anything to Prosperity Gaming, they need to have their carries sync up on when they're carrying.
Yeah.
Jungle carry game 1, ADC carry game 2. If they could sync that up a little bit more, it would be better. You really want 2 carries to carry that game through. And I mean, all credit goes to Galaxy Gaming. Their carries showed up. Cozy found the flanks when it mattered. Ariandel found the damage. And Nori B, I was worried about him game 2. I will freely admit I was worried about him game 2. Came up and I think ended positive on the day.
Absolutely. I definitely think that the confluence of carries was exactly what Prosperity needed in order to make a dent in this series. But I hope that you guys watching through the screen found that this confluence on the cast, Hummus, myself, Ice Fireeyed on production, the man is just a beast behind the camera. Thank you all so much for watching. We will be back here next week to cover more ACL action. Until then, stay safe. Stay well, be good to each other, and have a great night.